Just stand for a while. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, minutes and reports received and filed.
Yeah, we got the sheriff's June 2024 fees, the treasurer's June 2024 reconciliation report, and our office did receive the assessors, they submitted their certified assessed values for the year.
Okay. Commissioner Committee liaison reports, upcoming meetings and events.
Let's see, usually we have HBA board meeting, I don't think we have one in July, I'll check on that today. Got a planning commission meeting tonight, solid waste management district board meeting Thursday, chambers Friday, coffee Friday. Saturday, the Eagle Honey Creek fireworks at the Lions Club. Monday, Board of Realtors Political and Economic Responsibility Committee meeting. I think that's about it.
My calendar shows a Parks Committee meeting later this morning. A Salute to America 24 wrap-up meeting tomorrow. City Public Works on Thursday morning.
I believe that's canceled.
Canceled?
Yeah. the
Okay.
public works.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Tomorrow is the United Way campaign kickoff, which I'm not gonna go, Eric's gonna go represent us ably, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
You bet. Now, there's four of us, I believe.
Two Erics, both, okay.
That Eric.
Oh, and we'll send the sheriff too.
There'll be four of us.
Thursday is the Samaritan Center Gala. Saturday, they canceled Christmas in July. Sunday is St. Martin's Parish Picnic, I believe, Eric. And that's all I've got. Any commission comments? Okay. Bids and contracts. Renewal 2 of inmate food services.
This is the second renewal with Trinity Services Group for inmate food services. They proposed a 3% increase on their services, which is roughly $14,000 increase per year. The Sheriff's Department has been pleased with their services and is okay with the increase. Our recommendation is to renew with Trinity Services Group for another year.
Make a motion to approve and renew the inmate food services with Trinity Services Group.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Review and approval of geotechnical investigation at the juvenile center site by Gradell Engineering.
I have a contract, good morning. I have a contract for geotechnical investigation at the juvenile center site to be provided by Gradell Engineering. It will be invoiced direct to Cole County. Estimated cost not to exceed $11,600.
I'm good with this, we're gonna have to do this whatever we do over
Right.
there. And they said something, well, we just gotta figure out what was in over there, what I'm gonna put the building, what put in dollars. But that's beyond this scope, because this is, so with some conditions where that was filled to ground, so they need to do some geotechnical
Right.
study on this.
I want to ask the chief, did Gradell do the geotech for the 319 property?
It was either them or CMPS, I'm not.
I think it was Gradell.
I believe it was
Okay.
Gradell, that name sounds familiar as well.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the geotechnical investigation of the juvenile center site with Gradell Engineering for $11,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Unfinished business. Continued discussion of assessors department salaries.
confirm, yes, it was Gridell.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we are finally, the end is in sight. Our HR Sheila has done comparisons and gone over everything, and we have arrived at HR's recommendations for the salaries. Did you receive a copy of that, Chris?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I think that's about a $50,000 increase.
I'm sorry?
I said, I think that's about a $50,000 increase on
Okay.
total salaries, so.
Is there discussion?
Sure,
Okay.
yes. that's-
Well, first off, she's got my chief appraiser taking a pay cut by $3. He's been here 26 years. And he's taking a $3 pay cut?
$2.31 pay
Okay,
cut. I also-
$2.31,
I caught
okay.
that as well.
Yeah, and I'd requested 75 from him, for him, because the Archer grading system that I used shows that that's equal to an assistant prosecuting attorney. And their request this year, I don't know if they got it or not, but it was to be at 75,000. And that would be equivalent to the chief appraiser. Can I ask what information you used to determine the salaries?
I used Camden County, Boone County,
Cape.
Cape County, Bureau of Labor Statistics, Indeed for actual postings. And that's the numbers that are reflected in that data.
Did you compare them to any other county offices, Cole County offices?
I asked for information. No, I did not compare them to other current county offices based on the Archer study, because the Archer study is 17 years old and, in my opinion, very much irrelevant to what's going on now. The comparisons are not necessarily apples to apples when you talk about certifications that are required, actual duties of the job. I know it was relevant then. I know it's great data. Don't think that I'm trying to dispute that. I'm just telling you what the information I got and had available to me, other than county comparisons that you offered me.
Okay. This still leaves the Cole County Assessor's Office as the lowest paid office in the county by a fair margin. And I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I know that our county recorder came to you old gentlemen and asked that nobody in their office would be making less than $40,000. And I believe that was granted, according to what I see on the salary information. Well,
We have other employees who are making less than $40,000.
Yes, we did.
That's,
okay. Jill, this is for you. This is a sunshine request for the information that was used to make these determinations.
You don't have to have a sunshine request, Chris. I'll give it to you.
Well, I just need to make sure I get everything.
You'll get everything.
I really don't see that these are in line with the job that they do. You've got one of my employees, granted, he's a good find, but you've got him making $2,500 less for somebody that was in the office for 26 years, and he's been here about a year. Both of them have a residential certification, but 26 years of experience in the county only gets him a $2,500 increase. I'm sorry, $2,500 more. It's actually $2.31 decrease.
Unfortunately, yours with the county won't equate dollar for dollar because compression naturally occurs, Chris. And so unfortunately, those 26 years, while they're valued service to the county, doesn't necessarily equate to 26 years of difference.
Okay, when I took office, I had a general certified individual who was my chief appraiser. She began training my current commercial manager in commercial appraisal. She retired in 2013, and since that time, for about the first 6 years after that, he was handling the entire commercial department on his own, keeping us currently within the guidelines for the State Tax Commission on commercial property. He's had very little assistance. We got one person hired a couple of years ago, and his training's been moving forward, but it's been a little spotty because of the lack of staffing. So I've got one person who was handling the entire office for a period of about 8-9 years, and then he got some assistance. But during that time period, he did the work of 2 people. And now we're going to tell him that he gets a $2.31 decrease instead of a reasonable increase.
Chris,
where
I
he
would
should
ask
be.
that you keep in mind that these numbers, if you look at your budget request for '24, these numbers are gonna be very much within your budgeted amount, very close to that, and new budgets will be done in '25. You still have an opportunity to ask for additional money in the '25 budget, and I have asked for performance appraisals that I've not seen nor heard any response to.
I didn't see a request for,
It's not in writing, Chris. I sat right next to you last week and asked for
okay,
that.
could you send me something in
You
writing, please?
betcha I will.
Regardless, this is just, I mean, without comparing these positions to other positions in the county, you've created a situation where, well, for instance, my residential appraisers, they've got 4-year degrees and they're training to be residential certified appraisers. It's about a 2.5 to 3 year process. They could quit me today, and they're making somewhere in the area of, well, one of them is making $45,000, and he's been here since 2018. They could quit work for me, go to work for the sheriff's department as a jailer, starting at $52,000. So I don't see the parity there. I don't see a reasonable expectation.
I don't think you can really compare the two of them. I mean, the jailers have a lot more of a thankless job, I think. I think they're 2 different animals, Chris. I wouldn't compare the 2 of them. I would just stay in our lane with what you think they need to be paid and take the duties they do. I was talking to David this morning, trying to figure out what amount of money you have in the reserve salary.
Over $1 million?
And no, not reserve salary, just from the budget.
Oh, the reserve salary, okay. I thought you meant the contingency.
Yeah.
Yeah, the surplus.
221,193, I think, if I've got these numbers written down right.
Okay.
We have a couple open positions, so we backed those out of there. Then maybe there was one position that was filled since then, Debbie. We were trying to do it real quick this morning because we've been working on these numbers, crunching them in the last week and then a holiday in there, so I'm just not probably where I need to be on them. I'm trying to keep what you're requesting, or even what HR recommended, under that amount that we have to work with. And if you can find however you want to massage the numbers and get some raises done with that amount of money, and then use the other requests, if the other ones, if you don't feel the commercial appraisers where it needs to be, I mean, we need to talk about it. If they've got certification, we need to talk about that as well. We pay people to have their CDLs. We pay people to get certified at the sheriff's office. There's different certifications. And, we can try to keep them. They have something. That's what they have. That's the asset that they have to make themselves worth more. So, I mean, I'm definitely willing to talk about going above and beyond, but I think we have to work within the numbers that we have in the salary reserve and leave some money in there to fill these other positions. I've got the residential appraiser 2 and a commercial appraiser 2 that are still open, right? So that's just kind of where I was at with it. I thought that our HR did a good job of being very objective about it. She brings us numbers, and that's kind of why I emailed you this morning, say, have you had a chance to look at this, and if you agree or disagree.
And I sent you an email last week, I think it was asking if you had any questions. This is my 3rd trip up here. I presented it to the auditor in September. I presented it to you gentlemen in November with the budget. All of the other county offices have come up here since the budget and got adjustments made, reasonable adjustments. I've come up here asking for the same treatment and haven't received it because these are not reasonable adjustments. These people are making so much less than the other county offices, some who have been there quite a number of years longer than other offices. You're saying that the county assessor's office employees aren't as valuable as the other employees in the county. Is that correct?
I think I was saying we needed some job descriptions. That's what we were waiting on from the get-go.
We got them a month
And
ago.
we do have them now. And so if we can work within that salary reserve amount to make those adjustments, that's most of what we did for the other ones. And other people brought us plans and flow charts and who's in charge of who. I don't know who's in charge of anybody on this. That's one of the things I should have emailed you last week and said, how does your flow chart work? Who's the supervisor over who runs the office? Who's there to, take care of things, so.
I've been available for any questions, but nobody got a hold of me with questions. The only salary on this that is near what I requested is the one employee that HR spoke to personally. Didn't speak to me, didn't speak to any other employee, but the one employee she spoke to got more than what I was asking for. So I don't understand how that can happen compared to the rest of the salaries. And the assessment fund has a surplus of over $1 million and has had for years. So
Chris?
I'm asking for some reasonable salaries for hard work that's being done over there. You all are shooting morale right on down, and people will start leaving again. I cannot keep people for the salaries that you have here.
Chris, I think you make a good argument for your chief appraiser, first of all. You mentioned that well, let me back up to some numbers that I've run. When you came here, I guess in September, October, November, December, through the budget process, you asked for about a 22% increase.
Correct.
And the budget that was adopted was a little over 12% for your area. Your request now versus the 23 actual is 33%,
Yes.
round numbers. And HR is saying it ought to be 21%.
Okay.
Okay. So that's kind of globally, but inside those numbers, I think you make a good argument about your chief appraiser. You did mention that the commercial guidelines of the State Tax Commission. Does your office have does your office do the same thing for commercial it does for residential with respect to a sales ratio study?
Yes, it does.
It does.
It does. It's done, I think it's once every 3 years or once every 4 years.
Okay, so
As
when
opposed to
I
every
looked
other
at the
year.
most recent sales ratio study, there is no commercial numbers there because there wasn't one
Right.
done for 21, 22. There was a residential, that's the one that caused a problem.
Yeah, and the previous one was in the top 4 in the state.
And this one is like 92nd or something like that? The most recent one? Are you,
The commercial,
no, not the commercial, the residential.
the ratio?
Yes.
I think it was in the 80s.
I think it was 92,
It was 92?
I think.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that. And I
Well, it's
didn't
public.
see that number. I'll have to take a look at it. You're talking about for the 23 year?
The most recent published
Okay.
sales ratio study. You always, I shouldn't say you always, you have often cited the sales ratio study as evidence of the value or the ranking of your office. You're not ranking so well now.
No, we're still in the top, I would say, top 70%.
Really? At 92
Yeah, I would say so.
out of 114, you're in the top 70%?
I would think so, yeah. I
Really?
haven't looked at all the numbers yet, but I would think
Where
that
do you get that ranking? Can I get that ranking somewhere?
I just looked at the ratio studies,
Oh.
and not having it in front of me, I couldn't say 100%, but I'm pretty sure that we're up that high.
Okay. How do you rank the properties that don't sell?
I'm sorry, how do we rank the ones that don't sell?
Yeah.
We compare those to similar buildings that have sold, which is why the sales comparable approach is the most valuable to us for property that's not new. The cost approach is great for a brand-new property, but for a property that's been out there for a while, 10, 15, 20 years, it's a very poor approach to use. So we prefer to use the sales comparable, and that's what's recommended for that type of valuation. And yet, the sales comparable that we have currently is not workable. It will not allow us to review the properties like we need to, because we can't do the volume that we used to do. And the reason that my ask at the beginning of the budget was less was because I didn't have the current salaries that were being paid to the other offices.
You didn't have them? Why did somebody refuse to give them to you?
No, I hadn't requested them at that time.
Oh, okay.
I thought that what I was asking for was reasonable, but then I learned that other offices were asking for much more, and that their salaries were much higher than what they're being paid in the assessor's office. So that was the reason for the adjustment there.
Well, I think what our HR did, she actually checked with counties that are comparable to us, and that's
Okay.
where she arrived at these salaries.
Then I'm
So
with
the comparison is not so much with our different, it's with the assessors' offices in Boone County and Cape County and whatever. So it's assessor to assessor.
And this was done for
It's apples to
all
apples.
offices in the county? The Cole County Collector's Office was compared to the other counties to determine what the salaries were there? The same with the recorders and...
I think
No,
that's-
I did not compare your staff to the other county offices.
No, I didn't mean mine. I mean, did you compare the Cole County Collector's salaries to the Cape Girardeau County Collector?
I did.
I think,
Okay.
yeah, that's normally one of the ways she comes up with a comparison.
And
is
was
by-
years of service taken into consideration at all?
I asked for their years of service. I did not get it in most cases. But the years of service were considered in my recommendations. And I would like to note, you were talking about that only one person was granted more money. If you look at what you asked for in the 2024 budget conversations, what you asked for to be paid for your staff in 2024, there are 6 that I recommended slightly lower, 5 that I recommended at or above. So very close to a 50-50 split on what you asked for in '24. You then, when you asked for mid-year raises, turned around and increased that number substantially. So your mid-year ask, Chris, has no bearing on what you asked for at the beginning of this budget year and didn't get because you didn't ask for the same numbers. So I
So
feel
what
like
was-
I've
what
done
was
a
the
good
reason
job.
I
I'm
didn't
happy
get
to
the-
share the information I have with you.
What was the reason we didn't get the raises at the beginning of the year?
Because you did not have current job descriptions. You took nearly 6 months to get them to me. You
No,
said you
ma'am,
didn't
it was
even
not
know.
6 months to get them to you.
It
It was
was
much
in
faster
June.
than that, and you've had them for quite a while, and
In
you sent me
June, Chris,
several
I got 'em.
emails apologizing that it had taken you so long to get them done.
Yes, sir, and I was out on medical leave from February to June.
That may be,
You
but
were
it
out
still
for 9
affects,
months and got grace on the task
because
you
I
didn't
had
take
somebody
care of.
running my office.
You
Do
didn't, you weren't doing your job, Chris, in 9 months. I did the best I
I was
could in
recovering
mine
from
in 3
major
months.
surgery.
So did I, sir. I
Okay.
had my shoulder
Okay,
replaced.
but you have nobody that's running your office when you're not there.
That's exactly right, because we don't have HR,
We're not
6
making
people
any
on
ground
staff.
here.
Well,
Please, if you would get me the information, Jill, I would really appreciate it. As I said, you're killing the morale in the assessor's office. You're setting us up to fail. We're not gonna be able to hire people in at
I
those
would like to
positions for those
request
salaries.
one-on-one conversations with each of his members of his team.
I would suggest you have conversations with me.
May I have
Which
those
he's not done.
conversations with his team members? Commissioners, please?
I don't have a
With
problem
my
with
team
that.
members?
Yes.
You asked me for that. They work for me.
I'm asking you and them because they supervise you, sir.
No, ma'am, they don't supervise me.
They supervise your
I'm an
team.
individual elected official, just like every other elected official in this county. We don't work for the county commissioners.
And
They
there's not
handle the
another
budget.
department that, with an elected official, that would refuse me access to
I
have
didn't refuse
conversations.
you access.
I'm asking you,
If
may I have
wanna-
those
If you want to come
conversations?
and talk with me, with them present, that would be great.
No.
Not without me being present.
Oh, okay, so you won't allow me to talk to your staff without you in the
With
meeting?
me present, that is
Is that not
correct.
intimidation, Chris?
How is that intimidation?
Gentlemen,
Okay.
we're not making any ground. I've given you reasonable information. I worked very hard to come up with that. There's no reason that the equal grades in the Archer study is not relevant now.
It's 17
Because the
years
jobs
old.
are the same. If you look at the individual jobs, what you're paying the other offices are way above what you're paying for the same work in the assessor's office. And I'll leave it at that.
So are you refusing to accept these numbers in whole?
I'll take what you all give me, the best I can get. It's not right, it's not fair, it's not equal to the rest of the county. Why would people stay at the assessor's office when they can go work for another county office and make more? Even though that somebody in that office is making more than they are in the current office they're in, even if they've been there longer. That's what I just don't understand.
I agree
It
with
seems
with
like
the
a very
Western
big bias to
Commissioner
me.
that your chief appraiser is probably low, but I think the others,
Well, if we look at the budgeted amount, there was 53,693 to work with, right, Debbie?
Yes, assuming that you can fill those other 2 open positions with what we anticipate.
And so that's why I would back that out, so that that stayed in there, and if he does find somebody to fill those positions, it's in there. I was just asking that we work with that 53,693 at this point.
yeah,
Okay, let's share a little discussion here. The ask, let's assume that the HR recommendation is reasonable, in my view, except for one, and that would be the chief appraiser.
That's certifying.
That is, it says chief appraiser RES certification, or CERT, 6/8/2008.
Yes, and if I may interrupt you, he requested for that role 67,000. It was hired in at 62. The actual raise that was granted was 64.5. He's asking for 75 as a jump. So that information needs to be considered. He may be low based on your all's opinion, but I could not find anybody with a chief appraiser in the county, in the surrounding counties that I asked, that had theirs at 75. So I'm having difficulty getting the information to justify that 75. If I had more information, I'm happy to work on that as well.
You do have a number for Boone under that line.
And that is a range. They gave me a range, and that is averaging what their range is. That's where my target landed. So I'm not saying that number can't be or shouldn't be adjusted. I'm just saying that's how it was arrived at.
How much room is there to dip towards that?
what'd you say, 3,000 then?
I think we had 39.77 and 49 cents left from the salary reserve that we had total.
So roughly another $4,000.
4,000.
Yeah, which would
Roughly,
take him to
yeah.
68.
That's what I would do. I would make his number, that line, 68.5.
What was the deal with the one that was making like $2 less or something?
So that was that.
That's-
That was
That's
that.
just where the averages
Yeah,
landed.
$2.31.
Okay.
And I noted that too, but yeah.
And we've got job descriptions now. We've asked for that, we got that.
Yes.
All I was asking this morning was that he would stay within that number. If we need to make other adjustments, we can deal with that later on. Those requests are above what we budgeted for the salary reserve. I really don't want you getting mad and arguing with him, Sheila.
I'm sorry, I don't either.
You've done your job, you brought us the information, and then it's up to us to disseminate it and make a decision. So you don't even have a vote on this. I feel like you've done your work on this. And I know you're getting defensive about it because you feel like you're doing your job, and I thought you did do your job. So I will defend you on that. I think it's been very objective. I think there's a million ways to do this, and we can all three sit up here right now and draw up what we think it should be, and they would all three be different, I guarantee you. So I think kind of what y'all are proposing, making that adjustment to the chief appraiser, working within that number, I'm fine.
And that brings us up to about $54,000 increase in salaries. So,
I would make a motion to adopt the HR recommendation with one change. The line that reads 64.5 for the chief appraiser be modified to 68.5, which brings the total to 538,000 even.
I'll second that.
okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I will take it a step further, I'll get the pay forms ready and then send it to them.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. New business, accounts payable review.
And ask for approval of accounts payable pending your review.
Motion to approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion of Rave Mobile Safety with the City of Jefferson.
Okay, well, I basically sent you guys an email of the invoice the city sent us for us to pay the half of it. We're on our second year out of the contract with them, but still in a year-to-year contract, let's say, for this service. There's always been a discussion about how many people does it really benefit, how many people use it. So I did give you guys a report that Nick gave me about who's registered and how many users are on that app. I assume it's an app.
Is Chief Hoy still here?
It does a little bit of everything.
So it's like 709 was the number I got, so basically 1% of our population.
I was gonna let Chief Hoy weigh in on it too. He did say that their services use this alert quite often as well. And if the sheriff wants to throw in, or if it works, if y'all use it too, I think we just need to weigh in on it. We need to make a decision now, because when we do it during budget time, if we decide we don't wanna do it, I think we didn't even put it in the budget this year. That's why it came up in the middle of the year, and we have to make a decision now if we're gonna keep doing it. So.
And yes, you do, by contract, you have to give the city a 6-month notice that you don't, no longer want to use it.
So I'll take full responsibility for starting this conversation. And I think what the conversation started around at budget time is that historically EMS was funding 100% of the county's contribution to RAVE out of our budget line. So the goal was never to do away with the services. It was a request to split that amongst the users and maybe GR if we're going to continue offering it to county residents. There are two aspects of the RAVE system, and Nick can probably talk about this a little bit more than I can, but there is a public-facing side which sends out alerts if you're signed up for traffic alerts, weather alerts, those sorts of things. There is an internal component which we use for automatic notifications, such as if we have a large-scale incident, the system from CAD will generate auto phone calls to our phones to let us know that there's something occurring. We also use this to alert all of our crews that there is impending weather. We use it as a device for our recall situation. So if we have a large incident and we need to call people back to work, all we have to do is press a button and it sends an auto message out saying that, you know, there's something big going on, please come in if you can. That side is critical to what we do from a public safety standpoint. So I believe that we need to continue funding that piece of it. What we do with the rest of it, I'll leave that up to discussion, and however you all feel the money needs to be divided, fine. If it all needs to come back out of my budget, fine. But the request was to just evenly divide amongst the public safety agencies.
Sheriff,
the
do
history.
you use this as well?
We use it for posse notification, we use it for SWAT call-outs. The system we use widely, but what I want to make sure that you understand, in 2023, severe thunderstorm warnings hit 18,156 devices. Severe thunderstorm warnings was 10,975 devices. Flash flood warnings, 3,448 devices. Traffic alerts, 65,961 devices. This is a paramount for safety and security for the citizens of Cole County. I understand the money amount. We got to figure out how to pay for it because we need this, because it helps all the way around the citizens of Cole County. It helps all the way around. So you look at one that says 709, I get that. I don't understand it, but I get it. But if you look at the stats, you can see how many of these calls have been put out and how many of those 18,156 has saved lives. We don't know. We'll never know. But the fact of the matter is, we have the outside warning, but they're for the outside. So what do we do for people that's in their basement watching TV, or in the basement working on a project with their kids? At least if we have a secondary system, and we don't have, thank God, the last tornado that came through, no one lost their life. But this is putting us in a place where we can save lives. So we absolutely need this system. It's hooked into our CAD, it's auto-generated. We don't have to sit out and send things out to people. We absolutely need this. And if we don't keep this, then we're gonna have to figure out and pay for a program for us to be able to alert our SWAT teams and all that kind of stuff. So we absolutely need the system.
Yeah, the piece that we can't capture, that's probably hidden in the data, is that all of these, the rave messages are tied, the public-facing messages are tied to our social media accounts, so they auto-populate. So if you look at the sheriff's social media accounts or our accounts, anytime there's an alert, it will pop an update on there. And that's reaching who knows how many people, and we can't count that data. These are what are directly being sent to devices. So the system is widely used. It was never my intention to start a conversation about whether we're going to use it or not. It was more of a request that we divide up the expenditure piece of it.
So my dog in the fight is not budgetary either. But I would fully agree with both Eric and the sheriff in saying that we have a mass notification system that's currently in use. It takes a lot of time and effort to find another system that matches all the things that we currently already have. And to find something that is more cost effective, I think would be very hard to do. Not impossible, but hard to do. And I know from the emergency management standpoint that we've expanded this system since I've been here to include the use of IPAWS, which is the non-voluntary side of the system. And so all the alerts that they're talking about are all the voluntary alerts. People sign up for all these, right? The sheriff's numbers with the National Weather Service are IPAWS. So those are messages that are sent out to people who did not sign up for our system but are within our geographic area, the jurisdiction at which we can control, and we can send messages to cell phones, connected computers, tablets, things that are connected to that network to receive those messages. And it would be a loss to us, especially in active situations where we have large events, to not be able to send out those IPAWS messages and give very clear instructions to the people who are at our events. That would be where I would sit. I don't think we need to lose this capability.
Yeah, we did pay the city already in the last KP run, because again, you had to give them notice.
We're basically talking about if we're gonna do this in 25, we've got it renewed for now.
And how you wanna split the cost, if you wanna split the cost.
What was the
Third,
cost?
a third, a third.
10,000?
Yes.
So, I mean, it was a significant amount, but we just needed to decide if we're going to keep going with it in the middle of the year instead of just in budget time. How do we sign up for this? I think I signed up for it, but I was trying to figure out on our county website if there's something on there that.
There's a link on our subpage of the website to sign up for it. I've seen a couple other places on social media and stuff like that too.
I mean, maybe we need to do a better job of putting this out there too.
Yeah.
Because I get some alerts when the roads are closed, when there's flooding and things. I think that's the rave alert.
Yes, it is.
It's not an actual app, it's just a text, right?
Right.
It pushes
Correct.
us the.
Well, you can choose. You can choose a text, or you can choose an email, or you can choose a phone call.
Right. But I think one of the other important things, and Nick brought this up, is the IPAWS piece of it, having a reverse 911 system where we must mandate people receive those sorts of things. We don't do it a lot. Thankfully, we have not had an incident in the 3 years that I've been here where we really needed to do that. But if we do have a true large-scale emergency, that reverse 911 system will be imperative to getting people to shelter in place, avoid the area, so on and so forth. So having the ability to say, we are sending you a message, if we're not gonna continue with this, we'd have to find another one. So it's just one of those things that modern day 911 systems have to have.
Rave Alert is a national system too. So not only are we protecting our citizens here, we're protecting our citizens abroad. If they go to St. Louis and they use Rave Alert, if they get up there and there's a severe thunderstorm warning, it's gonna hit their phone once they hit that geofence. So I think it's imperative. And if we need to, if it's only 10 grand, I'll put it in my budget.
Well, I wasn't aware that you both rely on that as well. So I was just thinking, we've only got 709 registered users, but you've answered a lot of questions.
If I'm getting an alert that says traffic backed up at 179 and Country Club, avoid, is that what's coming? And then half an hour later it says traffic cleared.
Yes.
So I'm one of the 709? Okay.
And so, and how critical that is if we go to a scene, well, for instance, for yesterday's scene, it was a horrible accident we were on. By us getting on the radio and calling dispatch and saying, we need to close this road, they simply put it in the computer and it automatically pushes it out. They don't have to do a separate system. They don't have to get on the phone and call. It pushes it out automatically to all of those devices, as well as our social media devices, our social media platform. So it pushes it out even further to stay away from this area.
I think we're spending too much time on a $10,000 number, first of all, so, and
I
let's,
did pay it this year out of general accounts.
that's fine.
Because it was.
I heard a volunteer
I did.
say he wanted naming rights.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
General fund can be used for anything. It seems like this benefits at least 4 different departments, right? Public Works as well.
General
That'd be
fund.
the easiest
That's
fund to
fine.
pay it out of,
Okay.
Yeah.
to justify it. Yeah. If you want to, we want to get in the weeds, put part of it to EMS,
And
part of it
I
to
don't
law
think it's worth
enforcement, part of it to
going
Public Works. That's a little complicated.
It's
so.
too important.
Well, thank you for the clarification though, because,
And I'll have
Yeah,
Melissa
yeah.
maybe
yeah,
put that back on the website.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
let's get more citizens signed up.
This is the Smart 911 thing?
It's both.
It's
Yes.
part of it.
Yes.
Uh,
Because I'm just trying to find how you find it.
Yes,
It doesn't
yes.
say the rave system.
Yes,
already.
so if you're on the website and it's marketed as the Smart 911, that's what we're talking about, yes.
That's why I was confused too, because I was like, I can't find anything
Yes.
on this, and a little technologically challenged, but then you said it's on your page and
Yep.
it says sign up for Smart 911, so if somebody wants to sign up for it. Heck, if you're going out of town, and you wanna see a road blocked or something, you need to take a back road, then there's that, safety.
We're gonna need that with 54 and
You're right.
bridges and everything else.
Unfortunately,
It's-
you are
it's,
right, yes.
Yeah,
But, but even the ambulances and my staff, which is on the road a lot, by having that system in there, we're alerted to if roads are closed ahead and all that kind of stuff. So it really is beneficial.
Thank you for the information.
Thank you.
So we're gonna keep going with it. so.
I think that, yes.
Okay.
Okay, discussion of book preservation project. Is that you? Oh,
So last year, we bid out, the book preservation Judy got a grant for. And so she got another grant for about $10,000, and we just wanted your guys' approval to get the bid process going on that, so that way you guys were in the loop with everything that's going on, because you guys will end up awarding it in a month and a half-ish. So we just really want your blessing on if we can go ahead and move forward with this book preservation bid based off the grant that Judy got.
I'm good. I'll tell you what, those books down there are so amazing. I spoke to leadership Jeff City last week, and I told them sometime if they want to see Cole County history, they just need to come downstairs and open those books and just read. It's wonderful.
I'm going to ask the recorder a question. Does this have any relationship to the award that your office received a year or two ago?
No, that was a separate reward that we received on that award. It was separate than what we're doing now. What we're doing now is preserving the old history back to, from right now, the ones we are doing are 1889 to 1909 or 1910. So
Okay.
it is the historical history.
Still handwritten, right?
Where previously, we were doing imaging from Aperture cards, which the title companies still use, because they will still go back, even on commercial, they'll go back 60 years search. So it's two separate
Okay,
projects that we're working on.
thank you.
The funding is coming from your fund as far as what the grant would
So
cover.
initially, we pay it through the Recorder's Fund until we receive the check from the Secretary of State. And I spoke with Mark, and I think he set up a separate line item so we could keep track of what comes in and out of the Recorder's Fund.
Okay. What action do you need from the commission today?
Just your guys' blessing to go forward. I don't think we
To-
really need to,
Today, we don't need anything, just
yeah.
to bid it out and see how that goes. Last time, we had a little issue when we bid it out the first time. We only received one bid in, and that vendor did not understand the scope of what we were trying to do, so we had to disregard that bid and go out again. So it was a little bit of a process, but I think we modified it a little bit, so I think it should be more clear.
Thank you.
You good?
Yep.
Oops, sorry, Judy.
Okay, discussion of grant-funded deep clean of the Pringer Family Center.
Our COVID grant ends on July 31st. We have approximately $13,000 left of that money. We would like to use $6,565 for a deep clean of the center, and then the remainder will be used to offset overtime. We did call for estimates. We contacted 5 entities. 2 provided bids, and this was the most reasonable.
Yeah, I did. Toby had called about it last week
Yeah.
and had all our i's dotted, t's crossed.
Yep.
All that good stuff, so.
I'll make a motion to approve a contract for the Pringer Family Center to obtain a deep cleaning project paid for with
The DHSS grant funding for COVID, Department of Health and Senior Services grant funding for COVID mitigation.
that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Gosh, we breezed through that. Do we have anything else to come before us today?
I don't think so.
I'll just mention, got lots of comments about why we only had a one-day 4th of July celebration and why it was smaller. There's a thing called a calendar that we have to live by. And so when the 4th falls on a Thursday, it's not like having a multi-day operation. I think next year it falls on a Friday. So be prepared for Salute 25 next year.
Yeah, it was a little different this year, but probably gave you a little more time not have to be downtown for the whole thing, being on the foundation board for that.
Right.
And thank God the rain disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the parades.
Okay.
I got something real quick.
Oh, yes.
So the Cole County Classic Golf Tournament and barbecue fundraiser for United Way is in full swing. We're getting everything. We're starting to get some registrations coming in. Just want to make sure everybody promotes that and get your teams in if you're gonna do a team, or see if anybody else wants to do a team. I'd like to get it full if possible, and we got a long ways to go to do that, so want to make sure we promote that good, do the best we can to. And we got the thing tomorrow, the pace setter, kickoff or whatever. There'll be 4 of us going, 3 from our office, and then Ralph Job's gonna join us too.
The date again for the.
August
August
14th.
14th.
It's gonna be cool
Yeah.
that day too.
I've had
And
really
it's-
hot golf tournaments in August and really cool golf
It's gonna be
tournaments in
cool.
August, and so you just never know.
As long as it's not raining.
That's right.
August 14th.
Anything else?
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion to stand in recess. I'll make a motion to stand in recess till 4:30.
Somebody said.
All in favor? Otherwise, we just sit here, it doesn't bother me.
Just sit here.
You might lose your crowd.
So it's on Wednesday, I think it was on a different day than Wednesday.